the actual science behind manifestation. Hi, I am your host, Sky Cheyenne, and welcome back, beautiful creators, once again to Rebuild Reality. Now, you know what? I'm just going to go right into it today because I'm really excited about this. And if I'm excited about it, you know it's got to be big, because if you understand this, this can change absolutely everything. Now, in the world of manifestation, right, we struggle, don't we? Because we're trying to believe in something out there that we call the universe, the creator, source, something we don't really understand. But when we're trying to manifest, we know that we have to work at, we're trying to work with it. But we don't really know what it is or how it works, because it works completely differently than the physical world. And our mind understands the physical world, because the physical world is like, yeah, you drop an apple, it's going to fall somewhere right about there. And that's the world of Newtonian physics. And the mind's like, yep, I understand that world. But when we're working with this other, imaginary world, we're going into the world of our imagination, and we're hoping and we're praying and we're affirming and we're doing all this assuming and stuff. We're doing all these things. Well, it's a little bit hard sometimes to convince ourselves, and certainly the mind, because the mind's just kind of sitting in the background being like, yeah, you get back to me when you're done with your little fantasy, and back in the real world. Well, but there's a part of us in our heart that's like, but I know it's true because I should be able to do this. And you're absolutely right. Now, in the quantum world, well, the quantum world of quantum physics is actually the world that underlies the physical world. It is beneath the physical world. It is what creates the physical world. Because what do we see? Well, everything here is made out of matter, right? What makes up matter? Particles. Quantum particles make up matter, because quantum particles are what make up all atoms, and atoms are everything we see. Everything we see is made out of atoms, and they come from quantum particles. So we understand how regular particles work. It's like, yep, that's just one thing, stays in one place. It's one thing all the time. Like, yep, there's my plant. Been there for 3 years. Been looking at it for 3 years. Yep, still there. It's been there in that same place for 3 years. It's like, well, we understand. The mind's like, yeah, I get how regular particles work. But it doesn't really understand how quantum particles that make up physical matter work. But quantum science does. So how do quantum particles differ than regular particles? Well, regular particles exist in one place at one time, whereas quantum particles exist infinitely. They exist in all places at the same time. They go everywhere. They are infinite. They move infinitely. They don't exist in one location. But when we observe them, when we look at them, when we watch them, what happens to them? They collapse into one place, one thing, one form, and one time. So if we're watching it, it just stays that one thing. But if we stop watching it, it becomes everything. And of course, this makes a lot of sense in manifestation, because we're like, well, what do you mean that there are multiple realities and there are infinite possibilities and all of this stuff? Well, of course, quantum physics science understands, for the most part, most scientists understand that there are multiple realities. And a lot of scientists actually believe that there are infinite realities. And of course, they are correct. But the important thing in all of this, so if we have particles that are quantum particles and they make up all physical matter, and when we are trying to manifest, or what are we trying to do? We're trying to move around physical matter, right? So we're really, when we're dealing with the world of our creator, the world of the universe, the world of our imagination, we're actually in that world dealing and talking to subatomic particles, these quantum particles. This is what we're connecting with. This is what we're lining up and speaking to. Because when we observe a quantum particle, it collapses into physical matter by our belief in it, our assumption of it, our observation of it, what we think it's going to do. That's what's literally taking it from every possibility you can think of and making it into one thing and showing up here as an actual physical thing. So it really is our thoughts, our assumptions, our belief, what we expect that is bringing it into physical form and making it show up how it's showing up. We are the ones who are collapsing the entire quantum world into the physical. That's how powerful we are. We're the one that's dictating what matter does. We're the ones that are collapsing it into place. So every single one of us really is making up our own reality, which is why the only one to blame for any of it right here. And trust me, I've been one of the worst with that, so I feel you, but we're the ones collapsing the infinite into existence. And that's not just a woo-woo, a spiritual thing or a manifestation. Just believe it and it will be so, fake kind of thing that the mind thinks it is. That's a real scientific fact. So how you choose, got my little notes, how you choose to observe the world, what you focus on, what you look for, directly creates the reality you're living in right now. And that's pretty big. That is pretty darn big. So when you are imagining, when you are believing, believe it with the knowledge that that's true. And in your face mind with the facts that we really are doing what we think we're doing. So it really is up to us when we're manifesting to make these connections, to understand that these things are real. But by having the information, the missing information that we need, we can put the two together. And that makes it so much easier to finally believe in these things, to give validity, to give reality to them, that what we're doing in our imagination, what we're doing with our beliefs, our assumptions, our all the things that we say when we're trying to create things, our affirmations and everything, that we're not working with physical matter. We're going beyond that. We're working with the quantum particles, the quantum matter that makes up physical matter. We're literally the ones directing it, telling it what to do. That's pretty freaking cool. And that is the actual science behind manifestation. So thank you for being here once again with me, of course, on Rebuild Reality. My name, as always, is Sky Cheyenne. And thank you so much for your comments. Thank you, of course, most of all, for subscribing and liking and sharing and being here with me. Because, in the bigger picture, we all are one thing. Which is why I look forward to seeing you here next time on Rebuild Reality.